Pandemic this year is canceling many of the usual events that are part of the annual Battle of Plattsburgh commemoration, like the parade and the battle reenactment on Cumberland Bay. The city has turned the commemoration over to a group of volunteers who, for this first year, will be moving much of the commemoration online. You can watch reenactments and parades from past years and videos on the history of the War of 1812, including the 1814 naval battle on Lake Champlain.
The 24-pound cannonball struck the bow of the Confiance.
This Sunday, Mountain Lake PBS will present the documentary The Final Invasion that tells the story of why that battle was so critical in the making of our nation. You can find more at 1814inc.com. Joining us now, Tom Donahue is president of the new 1814 Commemoration Inc. Committee. We're also joined by P.J. Miller and John Rock, two of the committee members and local historians and reenactors. Welcome to you all. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Tom.
Tom, why don't we begin with why this new committee has been created?
Well, we found out last December that the city was no longer going to be able to present the Battle of Plattsburgh, and a lot of us got together that had been participating for many years and decided we just can't let this die. It's too important. So we formed a not-for-profit organization, and we're going to be presenting it for years to come.
So many of the members of your
Many of the
new
volunteers,
nonprofit group,
they were all volunteers. We're all
volunteers, and many of them have been involved with the commemoration.
Many more years than I have, actually. So I'm kind of the newbie on the committee, but I guess they push the newbie to make things work. I don't know.
And John and PJ, why did you get involved?
Well, I've been involved in the Battle of Plattsburgh and the restoration of the flagpole on the island, which, as we all know, had fallen down in the early 90s. And we've got 50 American veterans buried on that island who gave the ultimate sacrifice on that day, September 11th, 1814. And it's just not right for those veterans to lay out there without their flag. So we got a group together from our American Legion Post 1619, and we went out there and we restored that flagpole. We got it back up and the flag flies today for those veterans who gave the ultimate sacrifice out there. After all, it was the birth of the country, and it was the start of a new era in a country as to where we are right today. We would not have our freedoms if it wasn't for the brave young men who gave their lives out there that day.
And every year during the Battle of Plattsburgh commemoration, you have a memorial service out on Crab Island.
Yes, we do. We go out with our American Legion Post 1619 group, and we've got a group of reenactors with 1812 naval uniforms, and we go out and we fire a volley and lay a wreath for our veterans every year onto that island.
And PJ, how did you get involved with the commemoration?
I've been involved as a reenactor since I was a very small child. I was sort of born into it with my family. And I've been coming to the Battle of Plattsburgh commemoration for many, many years, ever since I was a kid. We strive to educate the public about our shared local history.
Tom, as you mentioned, the committee is now responsible for planning and paying for the yearly commemoration?
Right. So this is why we formed a 501c3, which is a non-for-profit, so that we can solicit sponsors and they can use tax deductions, which was a problem the city had. They could never do that because of the city charter. And, you know, what PJ said, the history here just emits out of everything. There's so much of it. And, you know, you walk down the streets and people are looking at the different monuments and the big, you know, the eagle on top of the McDonald Monument. But do they really know why it's there, what it stands for, and why it was commissioned and what happened? So we want to get the organization back into the real history of what happened in Plattsburgh. Not so much of the commercialism that may have happened in the past few years, but there's so many things, not just in Plattsburgh, but in the whole North Country, all the way from when the British started from Canada and worked their way down here. There's skirmishes all the way down through. So it's a little bit more than just the Battle of Plattsburgh, which is why we're calling ourselves the 1814 commemoration, because there's many things to commemorate.
And so, John, this commemoration is important to you.
This is very important to me, Tom. Number one, like I've mentioned before, is the 50 American vets that laid on that island. But also, we are building a new historical park out here, which is called the Battlefield Memorial Gateway, which is going to commemorate every single veteran who gave the ultimate sacrifice and also participated in freeing our country from the Battle of Valcour with Benedict Arnold, right on out to the 1814 battle that took place out here with Commodore McDonough off Crab Island, and right around onto past and present.
And you're working with the town of Plattsburgh on
Yes, we've partnered, our American Legion has partnered with the town of Plattsburgh. The town of Plattsburgh owns the property out on the jetties where our new park is going to be. It's something that the North Country should be proud of, and it's something the North Country has to learn about, because there's so many people around here. As I visit with people throughout the North Country, they go, really? That took place on Crab Island? People lived here all their lives, and it just has not, and been publicized and has been talked about or even taught in our schools. And it's such an important battle that took place. A lot of people don't know it, but Canada had already named this area the province of Columbia prior to the battle. They anticipated winning, and we would have been all speaking French here if it wouldn't have been for the militia, the proud and brave young men.
plans have been drawn up.
Yes.
The park looks wonderful. What's the timeline for that now?
Our timeline, hopefully, well, money's a major issue, but our timeline for it is for the 250th anniversary on 2026. But if the money comes in earlier, then we should have the park done earlier, naturally. But we've been on hold with the pandemic, so we've lost the entire summer. We anticipated on having the road installed this summer, but as everyone knows, everything is on hold. So and it's going to be a little over $3 million park. So this is going to be something that the North Country is going to be proud of.
All right, and speaking of the pandemic, it's daunting enough being a new nonprofit group, gearing up for your first year. Then in March, we have the pandemic. Did you realize very early on that it would probably have a huge impact on the Battle of Plattsburgh?
Well, the whole concept was we were going to partner with the city for their last year, just to get our feet wet. And then the pandemic happened and everything stopped. And then the city, we both decided in general we can't have a public thing this year, but we didn't want to let it go to waste. So we decided we're going to have a commemoration, and we're going to do it even better than in public because we put together a website which is fantastic. There's over 6 hours of videos of the history of the battle and commemorations that took place here over the years. And we're going to start with that, and then we're going to have actual ceremonies on the 10th, 11th, and 12th at the different monuments around the city, starting with the one up at Culver Hill in Beekmantown and ending up down on Crab Island.
So some of the ceremonies, some of the memorials will take place, small groups, socially distanced.
Correct.
That'll be videotaped and put on the website?
Yes, it'll be open to the public, but we're limited, but they are at the same time being videotaped, like you said. They will be available. And then even after our week kickoff here, 2-week kickoff, we're planning on adding more videos each month, so there's always something to look at. The hope being that, they can't come to visit this year, but they can learn about the history of Plattsburgh and the battle and some of the things that we do here every year, and maybe next year they want to come and visit and do it in person.
We'll be airing a couple of documentaries on Mountain Lake PBS. That kicks off on August 23rd, but as you mentioned, there will be videos added not only during the 2-week commemoration, online commemoration, but then after that, the website will be
The website goes live on the 23rd of August with the 6 videos that we have. Actually, there's about 8 different videos, and we're adding new stuff all the time because there's so much to add to it. And our plans are to add things each month, and if things go well, also, have history talks that when we're able to go see the public again. And so it's going to be a continual build of things.
Obviously, that's important to you and to the members of the committee to do that this year, to keep
Absolutely.
this commemoration in the public eye.
Even letting it die for 1 year, it's not doable. We're going to make it happen.
Once again, you can watch the 1814 commemoration videos online at 1814inc.com and watch the final invasion Sunday morning at 11 here on Mountain Lake PBS.